For those of you looking for a fight that completely turned the fight world upside down, here it is. And for anyone who missed this, we've got your back. While the world waits for Tyson Fury's next challenger, something amazing has taken place in the division. This young prospect has been a favorite for many years now. But who exactly could we be referring to? That's right, you nailed it again. This is the formidable Efe Ajagba, aka the Rolling Pin, versus Andy Ruiz himself, otherwise known as the Destroyer. There's a reason why they call him the Destroyer. Andy Ruiz has successfully caused one of the biggest upsets in boxing history when he stepped up from the shadows against former champion of the world, Anthony Joshua, back in 2020. There were few boxers on the scene brave enough to actually challenge AJ, but Ruiz was different. He rose to the challenge to not only fight Joshua, but actually teach him a serious lesson in the art of scrapping to such a degree that he went home with all AJ's belts. Absolutely astounding. Just look at the torque on the Destroyer's flurries here. Check out the speed at which he lands these combos. It's no surprise that these punches sent AJ flying to the canvas not once, but multiple times. With such a savage style of fighting, who on earth would dare step in the ring with Andy Ruiz now? But that's exactly what Efe Ajagba did. Who? As many of you may already know, Ajagba is the young heavyweight incumbent, hailing from the small town of Ugali, Nigeria. He's been nicknamed the Rolling Pin by many due to the way he smashes through his opponents, but also in reference to his previous job as a humble town baker. The truth is, there's not much mellow about this young warrior. Just take a look at him here.
Great, good job. Look.
Ajagba puts the S in savage. Rumors have spread far and wide about an ensuing fight between Ajagba and Anthony Joshua himself to take place somewhere in Nigeria. Indeed, this fight reflects back to the 1974 fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman in Zaire, Africa, dubbed the Rumble in the Jungle, one of the greatest fights in heavyweight boxing history. But before that takes place, how exactly does Ajagba match up against our Mexican hero, Andy Ruiz? Well, no one could ignore the obvious difference in physique. Even more telling is the consistently brutal way Ajagba has smashed his way through opponent after opponent to build his name up as one of the most promising prospects in the division. The sound from Ajagba's knockout punches is said to be deafening when heard firsthand in the stadium. Some fight fans claim Ajagba exposed his own major weakness in losing his most recent fight against Frank Sanchez. But as many of you real fight fans will know, there was some very contentious aspects to the fight, not least the fact that Sanchez landed a pretty heavy blow after Ajagba had dropped to one knee. Pretty sly if you ask us. In fact, many believe if this had not happened, the young Rolling Pin would But do we really see Andy Ruiz falling for these simple power-punching tactics? The truth is, Ruiz has faced these kind of blows before. Not from Ajagba, but from Anthony Joshua himself, another Nigerian superstar. Just look at this uppercut here. Even watching this in slow motion, it doesn't get any less painful. The unbelievable strength behind this shot should have knocked Ruiz's head from his neck. Fortunately, it takes a lot more than that to destroy the Destroyer. In fact, after a brief respite on the canvas, Andy wasted no time in getting straight back up and returning the favor. He went on to completely annihilate AJ by knocking him down multiple times. Indeed, no one expected this, but who's to say Ruiz couldn't do the same against Ajagba here? Well, only a chin of steel could withstand these kind of knockout punches. Ajagba is perhaps the only boxer in the entire division to intimidate his opponent into quitting before the fight had even started. On the other hand, Ruiz may stand a good chance if he can use his usual scrappy technique of getting in close on the inside. You can see how this allows him to unleash these insane Mexican lighting combos with world-famous torque on that left hook here.
Amazing
It's no
work.
wonder
Yeah,
Joshua
let's
couldn't
go.
defend himself against these. Simply too fast. Indeed, Ruiz is like a pit bull when he's able to get up close. But Ruiz has also shown a strong ability to fight well on the outside at a distance. In his recent fight against Chris Arreola, Ruiz used clever tactics to pick off at his opponent round by round, gradually wearing him down and breaking his rhythm. This is likely what Ruiz's game plan would be against Ajagba also. The thing is, with an astounding reach of 85 inches, it's pretty hard to keep Ajagba at a distance. This young elite is adept at stalking his opponent around the ring until the perfect moment arrives to detonate that stiff 1-2. Many fighters need to resort to complicated technique to overcome their rivals. Ajagba simply shows complete mastery of the boxing fundamentals, and when hit with one of these bad boys, there's not many in the division who have been able to stay on their feet, that's for sure. So it's true that the rolling pin's punches would be a final test for Andy Ruiz's chin. But there are many who believe Ajagba would not have such success in this fight. The reason is he is simply not experienced enough compared to the Destroyer's cast boxing record. Indeed, Andy boasts a whopping 36 fights with 34 impressive wins and 22 by devastating knockout. This record is not to be understated, especially when compared to the somewhat fresh 16 fights by Efe Ajagba. That said, with 15 wins and 12 mind-boggling knockouts, it's fair to say this young Nigerian warrior has a bright future ahead of him for sure. Another point to note is that Ajagba's recent loss to Frank Sanchez draws parallels to Andy Ruiz also. This is because both fighters are well known to train alongside Canelo. Given the undisputed phenomenal prowess of Canelo's style, perhaps there is something about this rhythm of fighting that gives Ajagba too much of a challenge. But what do you think? Does Andy Ruiz prove simply too fast, too scrappy, and too intimidating for the young Nigerian silent roller? Or does Ajagba deal with Ruiz with the same thundering knockout fundamentals that he's used to smash all previous opponents? Stop what you're doing right now. No, we mean it. Stop what you're doing right now and scroll down to the comments section right now to let us know what you think. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and left cross the bell icon for future updates.